The Red Sox are changing everything up right now. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and we just got done talking about how bad this pitching staff has been for the Red Sox lately earlier this morning, and the Red Sox agreed because they made a whole lot of changes to this staff this afternoon, including a couple of call-ups, one of them maybe the hottest hitter in the Red Sox system this season, and they also changed up this pitching staff in a lot of different ways. So what we are going to do in today's videos, we're going to break down the latest roster move for the Boston Red Sox, and obviously how they're going to impact this 2024 season. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the call-ups here because those are my favorite things to talk about. The first player that was called up by the Boston Red Sox to make their Major League debut, hopefully pretty quickly here over the next couple of days, is a reliever by the name of Chase Shugart. Now, Shugart's a bit of an interesting story. It's a pretty cool one, actually. He spent 5 years in the Red Sox organization so far, battling his way through the minor leagues to get where he's at today. He was a starter, he was a reliever, he's been a closer, he's been an opener. He even spent some time as a bullpen coach with the Worcester Red Sox this season, so he's really done it all, and I don't really know what to expect from Shugart in terms of his play on the field because statistically, he hasn't exactly been fantastic this year. It's a 4.98 ERA with a bit lower 4.20 FIP. The highlights here are that he does get a lot of swing and miss. His strikeout rate's at 26.6%, which is pretty solid, and he does have some speed too. He can reach up to 97 miles an hour on the gun from the right-hand side with a sweep that has 24 inches of movement. He has also gotten a lot of ground balls this season, which normally indicates some soft contact. At 46.8%, almost half of the contact Chase Shugart is getting on his pitches are towards the ground. The downside here is that he can be a bit wild. He has a 10.9% walk rate in games this year. And again, there's sort of good and bad to take away from what the Shugart has done this season, so I don't really know what to expect here, mostly because specifically with relievers, sometimes baseline statistics, especially in AAA, aren't exactly the most determining metric. Once they get up to Major League Baseball, some of these guys who struggled in AAA end up being a bit better in Major League Baseball. Some of them end up being a bit worse in their baseline statistics, and some of them are right around the same time. I think ultimately what this promotion or call-up is an indication of is the Red Sox are not happy with how this bullpen has been producing lately. They want to see if they can figure out a way to find a match that's going to solve some of these issues, and they're giving anyone they can a chance to get up here and prove themselves at the big league level. Chase Shugart is the latest person to get that opportunity. I really hope he makes the most of it because from everything I have heard and seen as someone who's been in a Woo Sox clubhouse, everyone loves Chase Shugart. He's a guy that players and media and fans can rally behind. So I hope he has a really great first impression here with the Boston Red Sox, but he's also not the only one that got called up today. The other person that will be making their Major League debut, like I said in the intro, is maybe the hottest hitter the Red Sox have had this entire season in their minor league system, and that is Red Sox catching prospect Mickey Gasper. For those of you who don't remember, Mickey was actually a player that the Red Sox stole from the Yankees in this year's Rule 5 draft, and when I say he's been the hottest hitter in the Red Sox system, I'm kind of being serious here. So far in AAA, which is 40 games this season, he has a ridiculous 401 average with a 515 on base percentage and a 664 slug, which is good for a 206 WRC plus, 106% better than the average hitter at the AAA level. And it's not just that he's making a ton of contact, he's also just flat out not striking out right now. He has a 9.4% strikeout rate this season, and he's currently walking basically double that amount at 17%. He's been absolutely fantastic any way you want to look at it when it comes to his ability to hit at the plate. He's also, on top of that, a switch hitting prospect. This is a guy who can give you production from either side of the plate, which is a really awesome thing to have. He's going to provide the Red Sox with a ton of versatility. Now, the question is, where do you fit him in on this team? How do you get him into games? Because yes, he's a catching prospect, but his defense hasn't exactly been remarkable so far in AAA, and he has played a bit of first base, second second base and third base. So I'm curious as to where the Red Sox decide they are going to fit him into this lineup. I also don't really know how long Mickey Gasper is going to be in Major League Baseball. I think this was a direct result of the suspension of Jarren Duran, which they handed out today, which is 2 games. So there's a possibility that this Mickey Gasper promotion is simply just a cup of coffee in the big leagues, try and get his feet wet a little bit, see what he can do in a couple of games before sending him back down. But I think there could be some real possibility of at least a little bit of attention here given to Mickey Gasper. They could use him at first base a little bit with Dom Smith. They could maybe platoon him over there. They could use him at second base, maybe platoon him with Nick Shugart. They could use him over at third base if Rafi needs another day off. There is some wiggle room here with Mickey Gasper, but I think the big impact we're going to see from him is absolutely from the plate. And again, this is another guy like Shugart who people on the Woo Sox really love, so I'm curious to see how he sort of integrates himself with the Red Sox. And obviously, I am 100% rooting for this dude, but to me, this is an absolutely intriguing call-up the Boston Red Sox made. But there's a whole lot of other roster moves we got to talk about as well, including guys getting optioned and other guys getting called back up. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on these videos as well. Just helps these videos out a ton. It's the best way you can let me know you're enjoying the content we are putting out. Thank you all very much for taking a second and doing so. Let's break down the other moves as well. On top of guys getting called up for the first time, we also did see another call-up as well, and that was Bailey Horn, who has had some time in Major League Baseball already this season. He's probably a name most of you guys recognize. He was actually pretty solid for a little bit up at the Major League level from the left-hand side, had some pretty big innings in a Yankees series in the Bronx, the one that the Red Sox took from when Massa hit that game-tying home run, but at the same time, too, it didn't end super well. Overall, it was a 6.39 ERA with a 5.07 FIP. He is getting a lot of ground balls at the Major League level. Exactly half of his contact is on the grounds, and he actually did look solid in AAA after being sent down. Again, we look at why the Red Sox may have wanted to make this move. It's pretty much the same thing as Chase Shugart, which is just simply nothing's really working for you at the Major League level pitching wise right now, either whether it's in the bullpen, whether it's in the rotation. I think at this point, the Red Sox are just trying to throw things at the wall and see which ones of them stick. Is there a combination in that bullpen that's going to get it back to being a productive part of this team? Maybe Bailey Horn's the answer to that. I don't know. I don't think the Red Sox know, but they're certainly willing to give it a try, and I don't hate this idea at all. Getting different people into this pen feels like a really smart move to me. On top of that, you're also getting Brayan Bello back from the paternity list, which obviously we knew was coming. It was only a 3-day maximum, right? We know that baseball players are only allowed 3 days after they have a new child to spend time with them. So Brayan Bello was always going to come back today. He's making a start tonight for the Red Sox. And yeah, it's not really a big impact move by any means, but it is something that I do want to mention. Gives me, I don't know, some sort of false sense of hope that Brayan Bello with dad strength's going to be the answer to the Red Sox rotational problems. That's just a weird part of me thinking there's absolutely still hope for Brayan Bello. That's not even my opinion. That's just a flat out fact. Maybe the dad strength is what unlocks it. It is still nice to see him back with this Red Sox team. Now, there were a couple of people who are leaving the Boston Red Sox. The first one being Brennan Bernardino, who was optioned last night after the loss down to AAA Worcester. And as much as I love Brennan Bernardino, this was absolutely the right move here. He has been on the struggle bus since basically the beginning of July. In fact, going back to the beginning of July, he has a 11.70 ERA with an 8.08 FIP, with opponents sitting comfortably at a 1.150 OPS. It just flat out wasn't working anymore in the big leagues, and when you can't rely on the lone lefty that you've had basically most of the season in those big spots, you need a lefty in. Things usually aren't going to go well, and you're probably going to have a difficult time closing out games, and that is exactly what happened to the Boston Red Sox. I haven't fully given up on Brennan Bernardino being a productive reliever again. I don't know if we'll ever see as dominant a reliever as Brennan Bernardino was in the first half of this season, but I think there is still hope here that he can get down to AAA, really work on his mechanics, really work on his pitch movements, and specifically working on his location with his pitches in the zone. If he could figure that out, I think he could still be a productive member of this team. But again, you're looking at what the Red Sox pitching staff has done over the last couple of days. days, they needed to start making adjustments, and Brennan Bernardino felt like the best place to start. On top of that, they also optioned Brad Keller down to AAA Worcester. This one, again, really isn't a surprise. He was brought up to basically cover Brian Bayo's spot for the time being, I believe, so makes sense that after 3 games he sent back down. I don't think anyone was really expecting anything else from Brad Keller. I will say, though, in Brad Keller's defense, I thought he was going to be a lot worse against the Houston Astros in that game. He came in to pitch, and he actually looked pretty solid, so I don't know, maybe there is something here with Brad Keller. I'm not holding my breath or anything, but maybe that isn't the last we've seen of him. The last move I want to talk about here is the fact that James Paxton has officially been put on the 15-day IL with what the Red Sox are calling a right calf strain. Now, at the time of this recording, I don't have any more information about the severity of this strain. I don't know if it actually is a calf strain. I don't have the results of the MRI yet. There's a possibility that by the time you are watching this, those results are out, and if there is, I'll make sure it's the pinned comment in the comment section down below. But as of right now, the information that we have, I don't really like this diagnosis. I think the 15-day IL scares me. There just really isn't a lot of time left in the regular season to get him healthy and then get him on a rehab assignment and then get him back up to Major League Baseball. If this is anything more than a minor strain, there's a pretty good potential here with or without James Paxton for the rest of the year. And like we talked about this morning, whether you like James Paxton coming over or not, this was a bit of a big hit for this rotation, right? They were already basically running off of just flat out steam at this point. Paxton was supposed to be that guy who, hey, he wasn't going to blow anyone's doors off, but he was going to be able to give you 5, 4, 6 innings of 3-run, 4-run baseball and keep this team in games. Without that, you're basically back to square one here. And the answer, like we talked about this morning, isn't exactly clear how you fill that. Cooper Criswell is obviously an option. I think that's going to be where the Red Sox turn, but I wouldn't be surprised here if we see a couple other roster moves over the next couple of days. Keep an eye on Richard Fitz, Zach Penrod, and Quinn Priester over the next days or weeks as guys who could possibly come up and either take a long relief bullpen spot with Winkowski or Criswell moving in the rotation, or seeing those guys end up in your rotation to finish out this season. I think you're probably seeing one of those 3 get up here in the next couple of days, but this absolutely sucks for James Paxton. I can't imagine getting traded over to this team and then getting injured pretty immediately after you getting on it. Probably sucks a lot, so I'm hoping he gets better soon, but man, I'm not holding out hope that he's back this season, which is a really big blow for this team. Overall, taking a look at every single move, I mean, there's a whole lot to talk about. I like the fact that the Red Sox are still being proactive, right? They're still saying, hey, wait a second, we got swept. We've been in a bad spot pitching-wise for a little bit now, but we're not done yet. We're not giving up on the possibility of being competitive. I like that fighting spirit. I like the fact that they're trying to change things up. Now it's just about, how does it work? Are these the moves? Are these the correct pieces of the puzzle that you've been missing? Maybe, maybe not, but again, you got to applaud the fact that they're not giving up on this season. They're not like, we'll just let these guys run it out. They're like, no, you know what? The back end of this rotation, it's not working right now. We got to try and find a way to solve it. Maybe that solution's sitting in our AAA team. So let's give these guys a shot and see what they can do. I don't hate these moves at all. I'm especially excited for Mickey Gasper. He was a really cool guy to talk to. He's from New Hampshire, so he's a New England dude. I'm excited to see what he could do for the Major League team. But overall, I think these moves, for the most part, are pretty good. I think they're pretty solid. I think they're pretty proactive. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? What do you think about these latest Red Sox roster moves? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Is there one that sticks out to you in particular? Is one that's like, hey, this could be really interesting over the next couple of weeks? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just helps out a ton, and it's the best way you can let me know you're enjoying the content we are putting out. Don't forget, if you enjoy these videos, you can always listen to them instead of watch. All you got to do is head over your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.